Hey everybody, my name is Sharon Quinn and I'm also known as the original runway diva, and you are watching Model Behavior. Class is officially in session. My guest lecturer today is Harmonica Sunbeam. This queen of comedy has been delighting audiences at nightclubs, cabarets, fundraising events, and supermarket openings throughout the United States and abroad for over 27 years now. Multi-talented, she has several TV and movie credits under her belt, and she has recorded 3 independently produced club singles. Welcome, Harmonica Sunbeam, to Model Behavior.
Hello, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Seems like I'm waiting for everybody. So I'm just gonna, I want you to tell everyone what you do because I don't want to mess this up.
Okay, I am a comedian, a stand-up comedian. I'm a hostess. I am a female impersonator. Yeah, just party girl.
Okay, so I don't want to say drag queen, and that's
you
not.
You can say drag queen too. That's
what you
fine.
identify.
Yeah, you can say that too. You know, I say female impersonator because it sounds more professional in a sense than drag queen, because a drag queen could be somebody who dresses up in drag, but they don't actually do shows. Like somebody who. A guy dressed in drag for Halloween, he's a drag queen, but he is not an entertainer. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, okay, so I want to know how this all came about. I mean, you're naturally funny.
Well, thank you, thank
you.
So
the comedian stuff, I get that. But how did Harmonica Sunbeam come to play?
About 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Well, it is a very funny story. When I was in high school many years ago, and I was just coming out and being comfortable with my sexuality, me and my 2 other friends, we had drag queen names, just just play around, you know, and so. And I've never had any thought about doing drag or anything like that. And then when I got out of high school and I got involved with the ballroom scene, like you know, Paris is Burning, that whole culture, I became a part of a house, the House of Adonis.
Adonis, Adonis. That's the one ball that I went to, and I saw the House of Adonis. That's why I remember that.
That was us. And so there was a club on 19th Street, I believe it was, called Tracks. And Paris Dupree, from where they got the term Paris is Burning from the documentary, she had a ball there, and the category was called Butch Queen First Time Up in Drag. Okay, so a butch queen would be a gay male and up in drag for the first time. And so I said, hey, I told my house members, I want to do that. And they were like, well, okay. And they put me all together, made me something to wear, did my makeup, did my hair, and threw me out there, and I had to do the rest. And I won. Yes, I set all those other chicks down.
And that's not easy to do. I've seen the talent at
especially
balls.
At 2 and 3 in the morning.
Yes.
You know?
And that's why I've only been to one, because back in the day, they be starting at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, ooh, I can't stay up for this.
We're going home and everybody else is going to work. So I won, and it's so weird because I said, I wonder if I didn't win, what would have happened then? Like, would I have gotten discouraged and blah, blah, blah. So I won, and then eventually I went to a drag show at a bar in Newark.
Wait, so you won this thing and you had never done it before?
Right. Because that was the whole premise. Like, it was first time up in drag, so you had never done it before. So anybody who had a history of doing it would be disqualified in a sense. Okay. You know, because they were looking for new faces and stuff. So and so then I went to a show and I said, I can do that. And so my friends said, oh, go ahead and do it. And of course, you know, the first time you do anything, you got all your friends' support, and they're all there cheering you on. You're nervous, but they make you feel good. And I did Secret Rendezvous by Karen White, I believe, and that was great, you know.
So, okay, now, I haven't seen a lot. I've only seen one ball, but I've been to quite a few shows where I've seen drag queens perform, and that's different from a ball, right?
Yes, because a ball is a competition.
Okay.
And a performance is just that. But in the ball, there are performances as well, too, because it's whatever the category calls for, in a sense.
Okay.
You know, so the category may call for a performance, but when people vogue at balls, that's basically a performance as well, too. You know, because you're showcasing your talents.
Can you do that?
Can I do
Can you vogue?
Yes.
Can you do the death drop?
Oh, I used to do the death drop. Yes. Now,
thing hurt.
now if I do it at this time, it really would be one.
Call the
Yes.
paramedics on you. Okay. that fascinates me. I just not even in my prime could I do that.
And we weren't doing those back in the day. That's
this is something new.
Right. Yeah, that's something new, slamming your back and stuff. We were gentle and graceful, you know.
That duck walk and all of that. I love that stuff. But in my head, I am fierce.
Right, yeah.
I can't do none of that stuff, though. None of it.
You are not alone.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, I see when you do the competitions, there's prize money, and some of the prize money is cute.
Yes,
I remember this from the ball.
And it wasn't. Now it's gotten even bigger because before we kind of did it for the prestige, and we won a little trophy, and occasionally you got some cash. But now the categories have gotten the cash prizes have gotten a lot bigger, so the stakes are a lot higher.
And is this something that, like, if you are diligent at being top-notch, a top-notch drag performer, can you make a living from, like, going across the country doing balls and stuff? Is that
not doing balls? You don't have to, because balls are just competition. You would have to take your talents outside of the ballroom. You know what I'm saying? So the balls are what got me into drag. You know what I'm saying? And then I became a performer, and then I became a hostess, and then, you know what I'm saying? So I took the talents outside, because in balls you can only get, I mean, like now there are people who have taken their ballroom talents and have made it mainstream, like teaching classes on Vogue, and they tour the country, or lecturing about ballroom culture and stuff like that. So, you know, there is a job or money-making opportunities to be had, but as far as the ball itself is concerned, it's kind of contained.
Okay.
You know.
And of course, you've taken what you started with, and you've expounded on that and done televisions and movies.
Yes, and there's so many people in ballroom, you know, that I wish a lot more people would take it outside of the ballroom too. You know what I'm saying?
You know, and I was wondering, but. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the mentality of being the king in the sandbox. Right. And being, because it takes courage to step out of that comfort zone and expose yourself to the world.
And you know, it's about wanting more. Like, they have a category called face, you know, so they look for beautiful guys or beautiful women or beautiful trans women with a lovely face, you know what I mean? And sometimes they ask for, like, you know, like a photo shoot, so you'll come out with a really large poster board of your face, selling your face and this and that, you know, and it's like, you know, use that same enthusiasm and take it to some of these agencies.
Yeah, like, if you can win that, why wouldn't you go to an agency?
And beauty is a matter of whoever is trying to hire somebody, you know? So you may feel like, well, it's good enough for here, but somebody else may say, hey, this is exactly what we need, you know?
And all it takes is one person to kick the door
That's
open.
Right.
But you got to be courageous to do that. Now, how did you take your ballroom skills and bump that? How did you come up with Harmonica Sunbeam, this character?
Okay. So,
how did this come about?
So the name itself, or
the name and the character?
Well, the name came because, like I said, you know, back to my original story was that we had these drag names. My name was Macadamia Serendipity, and I like macadamia nuts. And then I thought, like, I was thinking far ahead. Even though I hadn't performed or done anything, I was like, macadamia and serendipity, that would just be too big on a marquee. Like, you know, too many letters. You have to have a really long marquee to put that out there. And so I said, I changed it to Tequila Sunrise. And then it transformed into Harmonica Sunbeam, and I don't know what forced me to change into Harmonica Sunbeam. But the funny part about it is that the name sounds strange at first, but then it has a ring to it.
Explain.
It just seems comfortable at first, because, you know, like it doesn't seem like a strange name. You know,
it fits you. I can tell you
thank
that.
You. And, you know, in the world of drag, you get to, you know, we get to make up our own name, and you want to have a name. Most people use, like, very catchy names, or like cliche kind of names, like Anita Cocktail, you know, stuff like that. You know, but you also want to have a name that no one else is going to choose. So you don't really want to say, oh, my name is Jackie Smith, you know, because that's a common name, and it doesn't evoke, like, you know, ooh, celebrity show. You know, there could be a celebrity by the name of Jackie Smith, so I'm not trying to take away from her. But you understand what I'm saying? In the world of drag, you want to have a name that's unique and your own, you know. And yeah, so, and that's what I did.
Okay, so now you've created Harmonica Sunbeam. Clearly, you like what you created, so you've started to do
shows. So I started doing shows in New Jersey at this bar called First Choice in Newark, New Jersey. And then I ventured over to New York City, and I did a talent contest because at a bar called Two Potato in the West Village.
Oh my God!
Yes, yes, that was my first New York show.
You were taking me down memory lane.
Yep, and that's how that's basically how as a aspiring drag queen you get yourself out there, because you have to do these contests and you kind of prove yourself, and that's like in New York City. In other states where they focus more on pageantry. Sometimes they want you to have a title. They would have want you to won a title in order to pay you to perform, so like what is your title, But at least in New York City, we do a lot of pageants here, drag pageants, but we don't rely on that for work in a sense. Like that's not mandatory to work. So they have these contests. Different bars have contests different nights of the week, and a contest works out well for an establishment because really you're only paying two people. You're paying the person who hosts and the person who wins. So you may get like a night where you have 15 girls, all that free entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're just paying one of the people that entered and the hostess and, the DJ. But, yeah, so it works out, And what usually happens with most contests is that sometimes it's by judges or sometimes it's by audience applause. But if I'm doing something, of course I'm going to bring 15 to 20 people, with me. And so 15 girls in the show, everybody's bringing 15 to 20 people.
Yeah, that's a nice night.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's a nice night. So now, why have you not, or have you, maybe you have and I don't know, it seems like RuPaul's Drag Race would be a natural progression for you.
Well, it's so funny because initially when I first saw the show, I was kind of against it. And I was like, not against it for me. Because I said, well, I don't really want to be on a reality show. And I don't want to be in a competition. And then as the show kept going and going and going, I realized that I started to lose work to the people that were on the show now, because now these people became the new drag celebrities,
right.
So it's always interesting, so after a while it says, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. So season 7, I auditioned. I didn't get on.
How is that?
Because, I'll tell you this, and they have a recipe for every season, you know what I'm saying? So they need this, they need this, they need this. Just like when you make, lasagna, you need this, this, and this. So they need people to fill in. So maybe at that time they already had
harmonica.
They already had, the black male of age that was comedy oriented.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or if they just had that last season. Then it gets, because the season before that, a friend of mine won, Bianca Del Rio, and she's a comedy queen from New York City. So it's like you want to keep giving them different personalities in order, you don't want to keep giving them the same thing every season. I said that you also have to learn how to sew. It's kind of like mandatory.
Right.
And I did take lessons to prepare myself. I still can't sew. I found that sewing wasn't very exciting for me, but if I have to put something together, you'll have a nice toga.
You said a nice toga.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but is that something you would do? Would you audition again?
I would do it again, but I also believe there's more than one way to skin a cat, because in a sense, when you do any type of show like that, you kind of become seasonal in a sense, meaning like once your season is over, some people fade into oblivion, Some people, manage to still keep it going, but I think it's a matter of having the correct business sense. It's just like, if I asked you, oh, who won the 3rd season of America's Next Top Model? You're like, you know what I'm saying? But if I had asked you who won, I don't even know how many seasons they did, who won season 10 or something that was more closer to, the last season, then you would have a better idea. So sometimes these people kind of go back into obscurity unless they have the business sense and things work out for them.
So, but I think that a lot of it is they don't prepare. So they're not ready for what they think is coming, and what they think is coming usually isn't what comes.
Right, and in more ways than one too, because the show shoots in the summertime. So they film the show maybe July, August. The show doesn't start until like February, March. and they don't announce the show until like late December, January. Each season it changes a little bit different. So when you come home, like suppose you came home August 1st, you now have August, September, October, November, December to get all your memorabilia, everything lined up to say, because when they start advertising you, no one knows how well you did on the show. So everyone is team so-and-so. You know, oh my God, I like her, I really connect with her. You know, okay, well here, buy my this, buy my this, buy my this. And even if I was to go home first, you know, it still works out because I would have already capitalized on it. And now that gives me time to push, to do what I need to do, you know, what else I need to do. But because I'm coming, I believe that I would come to the show with a resume already that, like, you know, there are people who already know my name. And so it just helps out, you know what I'm saying? You know, so even if I didn't do that great on the show, I come with a resume. So it's just like, oh, please, you know. And now she has the TV exposure behind her, so we know we can, you know, pack a house. And that's what happens. A lot of, you know, these girls, they're booked to do a show, not necessarily because they're the greatest, but because they fill the place up. You know, and just because somebody can fill a place up doesn't mean that they're going to be professional,
charismatic, and they're not going to bore me to tears.
Right. You know, so you just really never know, because on the way the show is set up, you only see them perform when they're in the bottom.
You know that you are absolutely right.
So, you know,
wow.
And just because you make there are girls who have gone through the whole show and you never saw them perform because they were never in the bottom. They were either safe or they won the challenge. You know, so.
Wow, I did.
So then you book somebody that you really never saw perform before, unless you like watch them on social media somehow, you know, and then you say, okay, well, so these people, like the people who book them, they fall in love with the personalities or the popularity of that person, you know, so.
Yeah, who was the one that was my favorite? Now I can't remember her name. From Cameroon.
Oh, that was season 1.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That BB Zahara Benet. Yes.
I remember that. I may have hung on to, well, I don't have cable anymore, which is why I don't watch Drag Race.
Well, you know, it's a scandal because it's moving to VH1 Friday nights this season. They moved it from Monday to Friday nights on VH1.
Wait, so it's not on Logo anymore?
No.
What
From
does
what
that
I hear,
mean?
I hear some things are going on with Logo. Yeah, so like Logo may go. But that's just what you hear, like I heard on social media.
Okay, but isn't that bad?
It is, because it says that a gay cable channel can't sustain itself.
Or it says that we're going to assimilate everything into one.
Well, it helps the show because it brings it to more mainstream. A lot of people watch VH1. You know, they have, if that's the same one that shows like Love and Hip Hop and all that stuff like that, you know, so I don't own a TV, so I get a little fuzzy on shows.
But that's the dope fiend move right there.
But at the same time, it's also, you know, it's good and bad. The bad part is, now it's on Fridays at 8 o'clock, and from what the feedback I've heard,
nobody's
thank
watching
you.
it.
See, you saw it right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody's home on Fridays at 8 o'clock.
And because this show worked so well, because they had viewing parties at clubs, like, you know, gay clubs would have viewing parties, and they would have drag queens host, or sometimes some of the girls in their particular state would host the viewing party. So say, hey, we're watching it Monday, come on out, blah, blah, blah. And of course, Monday, people come out and watch the show, have a drink or two, and go home. So that, now it's a whole different dynamic now that it's going to Friday, because if somebody already has a busy Friday happy hour, we're not stopping to watch this.
They're trying to shut that down.
Yeah, it's a really weird.
That
so we're going to see how this plays out.
crazy.
Yep. We will see how it plays out.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, Logo is the only gay.
Right, and now Bravo shows just as much gay
they trying to
stuff.
make it
but
mainstream.
Logo ruined it. They didn't have a lot to offer, and after a while, it was just a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer reruns.
And there should have been a lot of original programming on there.
Thank
I don't
you.
really get that.
Do you know how many starving gay artists there are
Absolutely.
who would have said, hey, you know,
With
I have
great
this idea,
stories to
right?
tell.
I want to do this. You know, so I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
I did not know that. That is fascinating to me.
And they just announced this like about 4 or 5 days ago.
All right, Ru, we see you. We watching. No, we want to see
wanna
what's
know
going to happen
on.
with this. now you also have you have quite a nice resume of
Thank you.
acting, television and movie credits. You've done Law and Order. I saw some of your
Yes.
clips on YouTube. Now, are you a recurring?
No. Just there have always been like, one-time situations, but I had a recurring role on the show, and I'm not even sure, because like I said, I don't own a TV, but I'm not.
I'm gonna come back to that.
It's called The Deuce. And it's produced by James Franco, and it's for HBO.
Right, I saw that on your bio.
I had a recurring role on that, and I shot 2 episodes.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's out or what happened.
So what's on the horizon for you? And this was the other thing I wanted to ask. Do you do your comedy solely as Harmonica?
Nope.
So you do comedy in your
In and out.
regular day-to-day?
Yes. Now the thing is, because as a guy, I'm a lot more shy. So
Yes, you are.
it's take so I enjoy the fact of not having to do all of this to get on stage, make people laugh, and then just go, like to put on a t-shirt and jeans and get paid and make people laugh and then leave, as opposed to an hour and a half getting ready, doing the show,
That's your prep
45
time?
minutes getting out. Basically, yeah, if you're rushing me, then you're rushing me. But yeah, so I've done a couple of shows as a guy, and I want to continue to do it too.
And you sing also?
No, not really. No, those are called bitch tracks. That what I did. So it's like basically talking over music.
Okay.
In a sense, yeah. So I'm not a singer, but I do parodies of songs, popular songs, but all for from a comedic perspective.
Yes,
but
I know.
I'm not known for my voice.
Yes. Crazy is legendary. With Straight Jacket. Just Ramona told me about that one.
Yeah.
Now, how do you come up with your material? Do you reach from your real life, or?
Yep, because people want to know what's going on with you. As when you're doing stand-up comedy, we all have a story to tell and what's going to set you apart. Of course, I can go and I can talk about politics, or I can talk about other stuff, But people really what holds people's interest most is your own story, Because if you have 10 comics up there, we can all talk about Trump. We can all talk about, Nicki Minaj or whoever else is trending at the moment. But you really draw them in when you talk about yourself, And as a guy on doing stand-up and me telling them about me being a drag queen, do you know how many people lean in like, okay,
Now I want. Oh, that's
Right.
interesting. I want to hear more. So now? How was it? So you've done stand-up
Yes.
without Harmonica.
Yes.
What has that been like for you? Do you find? And I know you said you're shy.
It's wonderful. I enjoy it because it's you've seen comedy shows, like no one's getting dressed up, you know what I mean? Unless that's their thing, you know what I mean? Unless you want to do the whole Steve Harvey suit and things like that, But for the most part, people are very comfortable, and they are coming to you as they are, and it's a nice break from when I work like this. But like I said, I want to, that was part of my plan for 2017, to expand more and hit more comedy rooms. And so I can because I know that the more comfortable I am doing it as a guy, the more funnier I can be. Because if you're comfortable, you're funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like then you don't have to worry about anything else. But if I'm sitting here nervous as I don't know what, then you kind of hold back from giving it 100%.
Do you remember the first time you took the stage and did a comedy bit?
Yes. See, because as a drag performer, it's all like that's my forte, comedy. And when I host events, you're always throwing in comedy. The difference is that when you're doing stand-up comedy, it's just you and the time that they gave you. So there's no cutaway. So as I'm hosting the show as Harmonica, I can say a joke and it goes over well, or it doesn't go over well, and then I can cut to, all right, so ladies and gentlemen, we have our next entertainer coming up. Please put your hands together. But as a stand-up comedian, if that joke doesn't fail, if that joke doesn't go over, now you have 9 more minutes
What do you do?
Right. You have to go on with the next show. So you don't have that cushion of, okay, let me cut to the other, cut to. So it's
Wow.
just you. You know what I'm saying? And you can keep on bombing, or you can bring it back and make it happen.
What do you do when you think you about to? Well, you don't think, you know it's coming. You can feel it coming, right?
Well, no, I mean, because you know, you've written this stuff down, you've rehearsed it. It worked last week in Maryland. You know, just this crowd, it just didn't connect.
And
you
I
know,
had
so,
another comedian come on and
Right.
tell me the same thing.
Yeah, and it just so happens, and so then it makes you kind of think like, maybe I should restructure that. But no, that got too many laughs at too many other places. These people are the problem. My joke is funny. Y'all are the problem, and you can play off of that.
And I'm
you know
gonna
what I'm
say, do
saying?
you ever
Right?
do
Yeah,
that?
it's just like, okay.
It's like, y'all didn't think that was funny?
Right, you know. So you know, this is the part where y'all laugh, okay? You know, so sometimes you gotta let them know.
Jesus
Insert laughter here.
Now, okay, so I don't want to run out of time.
Mm-hmm.
We only have a few minutes left. What's next for you?
Oh, okay. So I'm, you know, performing, doing my thing. I am promoting a new dating app for ethnic men, you know, men of color, gay men of color, called Rumper, RUMPUR.com.
Okay.
And we're launching it March 15th. We're having a launch party for the site, the app rather, March 15th at the Munster. And so the site was developed to because in the gay dating world you have a lot of discrimination and prejudice with people, and we find that a lot of men of color log on to these dating sites, and you see things that say no blacks, no Asians, you know. Yeah, and so there's a lot of discrimination, and instead of people focusing on what they want, why are you advertising what you don't want? You know, and so now this app has come up to promote men who love men of color, you know, and you know, men of color who love each other, and men outside who love men of color, you know, so that way it lessens the chances of, you know.
All right. You hear my music, so you know I got to stop. But this is fascinating. I wish I had asked you this earlier. Anyway, we are just about out of time. I'd like to thank my guest, Harmonica Sunbeam, for sharing her industry knowledge with us today. Now, before I go, as always, I'd like to leave you with a few thoughts. I want you to, 1, remember that you can't change the game until you first learn the game. 2, always surround yourself with positive people and positive things. 3, do what you love and love what you do. And lastly, be who you are. But be who you are tastefully. Always have some class about yourself. Now don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Did you miss an episode of Model Behavior? Now you can view the previous episodes on our YouTube channel. Just Google Model Behavior with Sharon Quinn and all of the previous episodes will come up. Thanks for watching Model Behavior, and I'll see you next week. Class is officially dismissed. Bye, y'all.